I love the idea of being able to say no to people, being able to say, like, sometimes people will ask me to be on my show, and there's a nice way to say no.
I'd love to know what that is.
Yeah. You could be like, oh, man, I'm really booked up right now. My favorite thing to say, it seems kind of like weird, but I'm sorry, I got too many white guys. So
isn't that exactly the frustration with white guys right now? It's like everyone says there's too many of them.
Yeah, and there's a thing of, oh, I'm a white comedian, it's so hard for me. Really, buddy? I mean...
It kind of is, if you think about it.
It is. People are kind of there's so much white noise.
Hey.
Today, we talk about...
Yo!
Hey!
What's up, man? How fucking fake did that feel? Like,
oh,
hey, let's get into the energy.
We're doing it.
No, yeah, I definitely want to have you back, man. This is Camden, Killer Cam, by the way. Yeah.
What up?
You know what I've learned since the last time I had you on here?
What's that?
A couple of things. I learned that most podcasts die by like episode 7.
Oh.
And I'm at like almost 7D.
Oh my God.
And second thing I learned is you should plug people in the beginning because people tend to tune out and not pay attention to the whole thing. So instead of plugging shit at the end, where can we find you?
Okay, my name is Camden Pollio, Killer Camden 33 on IG. I don't tweet. I should probably tweet. And, I do a show on Mondays and Tuesdays at No Fun Bar in the Lower East Side. Monday night, 10:30, Tuesday night, 9 p.m., and the rest of the week, I'm homeless.
Actually, the Monday show is new to me. When did you start that?
About a month and a half ago, Jeremiah Schur, very funny comedian, and I decided there was a spot available at the venue that I do the Tuesday show at. And at first, I looked at it like 10:30 on a Monday, like it's open for a reason. Who would come to a bar show late on a Monday? And it's been good. Excuse me.
No, the same exact thing just happened to me. Like,
it's been good. It's been very. It's been fun, man. It's I love making shows. I used to do TV production, and so that sort of aesthetic has stayed with me. About like. Whenever I get booked on other people's shows, which is almost never, I notice that I notice the little things, you know, like it's the little, like it's show business. You're showing something,
right?
You know, when you're on stage, it's almost like you know at the auto show when they'll make like the new Kia Sorento look beautiful. Like our comedy isn't a Ferrari yet; it's a Kia Sorento. So. But we still have to polish it up and put it on the 360 rotating table,
right.
And you know what I mean, have the curtains and the smoke effects and shit. So
why for yourselves or for the bar to keep you there?
Like I'm just saying, put a little effort into your presentation. You know, like we are so thankful that people come into our show that like. I don't want someone walking back and forth and like going to the bathroom, and we pull the curtains tight, and I ask them to dampen down the music in the front room. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and if there's like a crazy unruly person, I got to get them out of there because they're, you know what I mean? Like, I'm security, I'm the manager of the show. Sometimes I'm hosting, I'm a comedian. Yeah, I'm everything.
Right.
So
yeah, that sounds fucking torture, man.
It's fun. It's really, and it makes me realize like, yo, if I'm on someone else's show, I have posters with me that they say free comedy show on them. So like, I'll go outside and I'll bark for your show. You know what I mean? Just because. If you didn't bark and there's only like 4 people in the bar, what if I can get 4 more people? Now we got a crowd. Check it out. See? I roll with heat.
So you just carry these everywhere?
Yeah, they slide in. I mean, I got them laminated. I feel like I became a real comedian the day I laminated my signs because I used to have like white paper marker and like it rained one time and it ruined my signs. So, man, I graduated when I laminated.
Did you have those when you were here the first time?
I don't know. Was it a year ago? Less than a year. Everything feels like it was a couple of years ago.
Are you fucking serious?
Dude, what, 6 months? Less than 6 months.
No, it was like, what, maybe 2 months ago?
Oh, shit.
Maybe?
Dude.
Actually, now you got me second guessing. I know it wasn't that long ago.
Something, I just feel like when you're doing mics all the time, like this is a new concept to me. I feel like everything was a couple of years ago. Like Barack Obama a couple of years ago. I feel like a couple of years ago I didn't have a smartphone, but also I feel like this podcast I did with you was a couple of years ago.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man. Time is fucked up now.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. Maybe it's just because you're older.
That, and they keep retroing all my favorite sneakers. I don't know what year it is anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it's. Have you bought anything new recently?
I did. I do feel like I'm becoming an old man and I'm changing a little bit. I'm 38, and I love the nostalgia factor of like, everything I ever wanted from age 8 to age 18 is coming back now. And it's funny because I thought the wave was going to stop like 3 years ago or a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, they can't keep retroing shit. Like, it's going to be a fad that dies.
No,
and,
I don't think so.
And when you get, just when you think it's over, they retro something they just retroed already again. Like the Tech Challenge 2s that you got. I've had those. I had them in like 2014 and I had them in like 2012. Like they just keep going. So I'm never going to fucking stop feeling like they're tugging on my heartstrings. You know what I mean? Nike just keeps bringing me back. But other companies are doing it too. Check this out. So this summer I bought Birkenstocks. I know you're not a big flip-flop
Not huge,
guy.
but I'm thinking about actually picking up a pair of these.
They are really comfy. I wore them into round 2. There's, the secondhand shop. And someone at round 2 told me wear them in the shower, and then like your feet will like really mold into them better, and they become real cozy. I love them, man. I love them. I had them freshman year of college, and I had them for like 2 weeks, and then I got really drunk at a frat party, and I woke up without my shoes. So I hope that's all that happened to me that day. No,
what were you in round 2 trying to get?
Actually, so my comedy show is in the Lower East Side at No Fun Bar, and round 2 is right around the corner. So I go in there like 4 days a week.
You're right. Yeah.
I'm always in there, dude. Like I don't know if they love me or hate me because I'm friends with a lot of people there, but I've never bought anything. I'm just always like I'm like that guy, and one of the doormen really hates me there.
Why?
So I don't know, dude. Like I have a Pomeranian. Me and my girlfriend have a Pomeranian, little puppy. And one time I came in with the Pomeranian, and he like lit up like a Christmas tree. He was so excited. I actually took a picture of him with the Pomeranian for him on his phone. And then when I started coming around without the dog, he's been really weird to me.
What?
like I'm like, yo, bro, I'm the guy with the Pom. So I brought the Pom in a few times later. And he was all geeked out about the Pom, and I was like, "Yeah, you don't get to pet my dog."
Interesting. I've never heard that dynamic where someone likes you because you have a dog, and then you start not bringing it, and then they start getting mad at you. That's kind of
pretty funny. And part of like what makes me want to do comedy is that need to be liked, and when someone doesn't like me, it drives me crazy, And there's nothing cornier than like trying to get someone to like you. I see.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it's just like a vicious cycle,
Yeah, like
the harder you try, the more he hates you.
I do that with a lot of comics too. Like there's a lot of comics who I'm like, oh, that guy hates me, but like he's probably not thinking about me. And
probably.
Yeah, man, I love the idea of being able to say no to people, being able to say. Like sometimes people will ask me to be on my show, and there's a nice way to say no. I'd love
to know what that is.
Yeah, you could be like, "Oh man, I'm really booked up right now." My favorite thing to say, it seems kind of like weird, but I'm sorry, I got too many white guys. So
isn't that exactly the frustration with white guys right now? It's like everyone says there's too many of them.
Yeah, and there's a thing of I'm a white comedian, it's so hard for me. Really, buddy? I mean,
it kind of is if you think about it.
It is. People are kind of there's so much white noise.
Hey. I'll give you one of those.
It's like being on stage. It's like I got to hold for applause. I like that. There's so many straight white guys that are still trying to break in, and they're funny. But there's no way they're all gonna make it because there can't. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I don't know, man. Like you say, funny, but I'll tell you, I find so much shit less funny now than ever before, and it's kind of frustrating. Like it's kind of sad for me because like I'm spending all my time at these places where you would imagine, even if you're only doing 5 minutes, at least you get to listen to an hour of funny stuff, but it's like not funny stuff. And then your stuff also isn't all that funny either, or at least they'll definitely tell you it's not that funny. Yeah. And then it's just like, what did I just do for 2 hours? Like what? I mean,
there is, I think that's a triple-edged sword, what you're talking about with comedy, because the first edge of the sword, now that you're doing stand-up comedy, the magic is wearing away.
Yeah.
You see how a joke is crafted,
Right.
and even a joke that hits, if you see it 4 times in a week, you will not laugh anymore, unless it's like, I don't know. There's some comics that can do some stuff that makes me laugh every time I see it, and it's just.
I get jealous of that.
That's rare,
You know,
That's
but that I think to me that just shows how good of a joke it is. Because like Chappelle, you'll watch over and over and over,
Yeah.
and it's always funny because
Yeah.
it was that good of a joke. You know.
True. There's a few comics. Andrew Casertano, for some reason, his stuff is so funny to
Yeah,
me, like
yeah.
the way he sings. And I'll be in the shower singing, I live at home with my family. He's got like hit records.
Yeah,
for
he should
jokes.
do an album for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's a triple edge. This is why you're not laughing at stuff anymore. You're going to mics all the time. There's so much more comedy content around us now, like memes on Instagram, like all the shows, all the streaming, all the specials. Everything's like, you know what I mean? Like comedy has become like currency now. Comedy is like, it's people don't want to be action stars anymore. They want to be comedians, I feel like. So there's that.
That's the thing. Is that real, or am I just, like you said, surrounded by it so much that I just assume everything in this life is comedy now? Or is it real that like comedy's become more popular? I can't tell. I can't tell which it is.
I think that the way we work, there's this whole groupthink now with social media that like, oh, you know, that feeling when, and everyone's like, I get that. Like,
Right.
I get that meme. So like we're all of a similar mind now, you know, and it's all about relating to other people. So I almost feel like all the regular jokes have been done before. They're on a special, they're on a meme, they're, you know what I mean?
I was thinking that actually literally this morning. I was like,
They're on a
dude,
commercial.
have we done every punchline? Are we done? Are we done?
We can't be done because people still go to the Comedy Cellar, and
I know they still
even
go
to Greenwich Comedy Club too.
Exposed.
So, and I also like what's going to happen to the 100,000 comedians in New York City? They're trying to still break into it, you know, because it's still there's still something great about going to see a live show and watching a comic riff and watching something crazy happen.
That's the thing. That's the only thing left that's kind of exciting to me. The live, not cadence. What's the fucking word? Candid. That live candid moment is still just riffs. It's the material is just like, dude, you rehearsed this and you practiced this. This doesn't feel like a real conversation anymore. So even shows, I was just talking about the open mics earlier, but even shows I'm going to, and I'm just like, I don't even feel like listening.
I know, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like this may be a common theme with a lot of comedians, if not every comedian, if they've been doing it long enough, where like you stop listening to the material and you're just listening for the laughs. And you're like, oh, that one he did or she did got a laugh. Oh, that one got a bigger laugh. That one didn't do as well. Like I feel like I'm listening to that now instead of the actual
You're
content.
listening for metrics.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
But not even because I'm using it to judge them. It's just like this is like the common theme I see with booked shows, and then this also applies to the open mics in Iowa because they are kind of like booked shows because regular people come to them. Yeah. The comedians typically will sit in the back or like they have their corner where they're just sitting down and just like chatting. And I feel like they only pay attention to the comic that's on stage if they hear laughs coming. That's what gauges them, their interest to be like, I don't even want to listen to these bits because I know I'm not going to laugh at those. I just want to view the spectacle now of this guy commanding this room.
Yeah, that's
I feel like
cool.
that's more entertaining as a comic, especially if it's a comic that you've seen all over town for years now. Mm-hmm. Like, what else are they going to say that's going to make you laugh? Probably not all that much because they're at a book show. They're trying to use the same go-to hitters.
Yes.
Which you've heard 1,000 times, even if they're still funny to you, but it's just like now you're just, okay, which crowds did he captivate? And then I just want to watch that show. You know, that's what I feel like.
I agree with you. There's nothing like a room full of people laughing. You know what I mean? That energy is like, that's a drug.
Right.
You know, even to be in that audience when you laugh and everyone around you is laughing, it's like, you know, you could watch Dave Chappelle's Netflix special, but if you were there at the Cellar when he dropped in and did 2 hours and it was just riffing with Chris Rock, and it's like, oh my God, to be there and like, it's like you are like hanging out with those guys. Yeah. And that's still a great feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can chop it up and edit it, and they can put that actual set on Netflix, but you weren't there. And it's kind of like, I remember when Dumb and Dumber came out in theaters. I don't know if we talked about this on the last pod, but it was,
I don't think so.
In the time I was like, that's the funniest movie I've ever seen because I saw it in the theater and it was crazy funny. And
is that your all-time funniest movie you've seen?
No, of course not. I'd have to think about it to see what's the funniest. I agree with you, man. It's like it's hard for me to be blown away by content now. I think The Big Lebowski is incredibly funny. I don't know if it's aged well or not. It was very funny to me when I was 20 years old. But Dumb and Dumber is so great when you're watching it with a group of people who are it's washing over them at the same time, and you're just. But if we throw it on now and it's just me and you, we'll be like, you know what I mean? It's a contagiousness, and it's a. I mean, I just saw Quentin Tarantino's new movie, and I'm laughing out loud at a whole bunch of stuff, and it was a packed theater, and it was an experience.
Were you the only one laughing?
Oh no, that'll happen to me at comedy shows though. Like I'll laugh at premises, because like. The way the guy will say a premise or like an awkward transition.
Right.
I've been at the Comedy Cellar and I was the only person who laughed out loud before, and I was like,
"Really?
Am I stupid?"
It sounds strange. I can't imagine
I do it at mics. I do it all the time. I think I'm a.
No, I just mean for the Comedy Cellar because it's like such a hot room all the time.
Oh yeah, no, it was just like a random word, something that they.
It wasn't
said.
meant to be a punchline.
I was probably high. I don't know. But I love comedy so much that I'm laughing at stuff that's. Sometimes I'll just laugh at the dumbest premise, and I'll just be like, "Ha! I know you're about to do a joke," and that makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
I don't know if I might be brain damaged.
No, that's definitely happened to me too. Actually, just yesterday it happened to me. I went to Jimmy's mic for the first time in a long time.
Yeah,
and just like some of the words placed in a certain order just got me. I was just like, oh my god,
yeah,
just like this involuntary like,
Yeah. I think that's why there's still room for comedy to grow. Like when Nanette came out, and people were like, "Oh, there's no jokes in there." First of all, you go back, it's like full of killing jokes. Like there's like one-liners in there. There's honestly like her laughs per minute is high. It is a real comedy special. It's not just like a social PSA or whatever. So I think like there's still going to be comedy coming out of like. South Africa and Russia, and maybe not Russia, but it'd be cool to see like a Ukrainian comic blow up.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know that that's gonna happen because I think you need a quote modernized perspective. What I mean by that is like these places that don't get all this stand-up comedy, like let alone us, that we're just like consumed and surrounded by comedy all the time. So we have to find ways of evolving it. Otherwise, we just won't even try it. We'll just be like, no, I've heard that before. I'm not going to say that, right? So you're always trying to find something new. Whereas with these other quote markets, if stand-up comedy is still relatively new there, you're still getting the knock-knock jokes. They're still at that level.
Yeah, true,
you know what I'm saying?
True. It's like third world developing countries that just got like flip phones or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah, that's what I equate it to. At least that's what I think is going on because I can speak for Iran, right? So like growing up, I remember the kinds of jokes I would hear at like family gatherings or like my parents would have friends over and then they would laugh and tell jokes. And they were just so corny. They were just like, these would not work in a U.S. market because the U.S. market comedy has evolved decades, So I feel like that's kind of a factor. But I mean, I've seen, maybe Australia's not a good example because it's not like been deprived of comedy, but I would say, like a Russia type of place. I don't know that you would expect like a top-notch talent to come out of there unless it's like some freak accident. I don't know.
Yeah, I it's true. There is a lot of, there's definitely a lag time. I work in a Ukrainian restaurant, and I showed up there on rollerblades the other day to grab some water. I was in the neighborhood and I needed a glass of water, and so a bunch of guys came outside to look at me on rollerblades, and they were like, "Ho ho ho, you're gay, yes?" Like, yes, that's the joke.
Wow,
good one. It's not the most insightful, searing.
Right. Well, there's also a component of like, I don't know if they're a comedy type of person. You know what I mean? So
there's a lot of homophobia in Eastern Europe too. I mean, all over the world. Also, like we live in New York City. Like we think like it's fine, everyone's gay, whatever, who cares? But it's like in the rest of the world, it's like. That's not cool yet. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of the world is not caught up to that. And they still think it's funny to be like, gay. That's the best. That's the top level of comedy in some places.
And what's funny is if you knew to have your level that low, like you could probably get more laughs. Because you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
humor.
Because you're thinking, how do I get someone to make me laugh? And it may be a a threshold that's just like way too high for like the average person to laugh.
I feel like a lot of us we're overthinking it a little. Like we're trying to it's like we're trying to make the next iPhone of jokes, you know what I mean? Like, whereas like the regular person's like, dude, just give me an iPhone 6. I don't care. I don't need like all, you know what I mean? Like they just want, oh, tell me a funny joke about, you know, a wedding you went to, or tell me a funny joke about, haha, you know, when your kids are home for the summer, or, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what normal people would want to hear jokes about.
Well, I listened to some of these specials, man, like, and I'm not laughing. And I'm just like, I'm clearly not meant for this crowd, or maybe it just doesn't carry over via video. I don't fucking know, but
I think there's a big problem with guys like Louis. I mean, there aren't guys like Louis. Louis's in his own category, but Louis decided to start making a special a year, and the whole industry was like, "Oh, that's what we have to do." And it takes a long time to make an hour of material.
Yeah,
you could film a special every year if you want to, but is it going to be good? Is it going to be special? You know, like there's this thing of that's the new business model, and it's like. Michelle Wolf has just recorded a new special, and I was like, didn't her last special just come out? But it was a couple years ago by now.
Well, I mean, part of it too could be like someone could have a lot of material and they just found a way to get 2 specials out of it, in a short period of time. That's also possible, just to play not devil's advocate.
But I mean, come on, man. No one's got an hour of bangers and then can make another hour of bangers within the 12 months. It's not.
No, I agree. I'm just saying if they've worked on, let's say, I don't know her work very much, to be honest with you, but other than the correspondence dinner, I really haven't seen much of her stuff.
Yeah.
But I imagine she's been doing stand-up for years and years and years.
She's an incredibly hard worker. And she was probably a bad example to say.
Yeah. But I totally get what you're saying. It's like, I've seen a lot of that. Other comics have talked about it too, where like people are like scheduling their special to be shot and they haven't even like thought of the hour yet, which is so hilarious to me. It's like, are you that cocky? Like what?
I want to see a special where a guy just like halfway through it is like, oh, what do you guys want to talk about? And then it working. You know what I mean? It'd be so cool to see some real crowd work in a special. Not like Todd Barry's like crowd work the whole thing. He does a special where it's all crowd work, but it's chopped up over like 15 different shows in different cities. But
where's this on? Netflix?
It's just called Crowdwork.
On Netflix?
I think it's available in every platform. Somewhere.
Okay, I'll have to look that up because that'd be interesting to see. I've been debating doing that, just like because I can't think of new material currently, but I still want to get on stage. So like I'm just wondering, should I just do the whole what do you want to talk about for like 5 fucking minutes? Just like see if I can come up with something. I don't know because it's not my strength, so I feel like I should just do it. I don't know.
I debate with that too. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Run over these jokes that I kind of fell out of love with?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel right now. I'm just like, ugh, yuck.
They say you got to get on stage a lot. Like it's all about getting on stage.
Right.
But I think if you're getting on stage without material, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're getting more comfortable on stage, and something's gonna come of it. But like, it does kind of feel like you're just throwing $5 in the river when you go to a mic and you're just like, "Oh, what's up, guys?"
Yeah. No, I've definitely because I've been struggling with this, man. It's just like you feel like you want to quit, but it's just like, why would I quit? I'm seeing so many funny people out here doing their thing.
Yeah. Every time I bump up against it, I see the people who are working really hard. Like the guy, those guys that you'll see at every mic.
Yeah.
They're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of guys who are. One guy's making an hour. He's taping an album, not a special, but an album. He's been at every mic for like 6 years. Listen, day in and day out, is that a very depressing life?
Yes. Yeah.
And are you gonna feel like doing comedy every day? No. And it's that grind, like you said, that's just gonna fucking sand all the funny out of it. Like not.
Yeah. So what's the balance? What's the right answer here? What's the move? I don't fucking know, man. It's annoying.
I think it's sort of like wanting to be a comedian is like walking through the desert with the North Star as your light, and the water is comedy, and like you don't see any water in the desert as you're walking, and you just look up at that star, and you're like, that's where I'm headed, and this day-to-day shit sucks, but if I keep following that star, I'm gonna eventually find the oasis, which is the Comedy Cellar or something. I don't know.
Now here's the issue with that, right? Like I thought the same thing for a long time, but then I'm sitting back and I'm just like, you know how some people try at this and just never make it.
Of course, yeah.
What if you are that person?
Yeah.
You know, like at what point do you have to just say, maybe I'm one of those people and I should really stop torturing myself here? You know, like when do you know?
Someone said that. I think it was Louis, and he said it takes about 10 or 15 years to become a good comic, but it also takes that long to find out you're not a good comic.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god, it's funny. It's like, are we throwing our lives away?
Yeah.
But dude, you're come on, you're all in. You know, you're not gonna do anything else.
Well, I have other stuff I'm doing, you know.
Right, but like in terms of comedy, like for you to like you have like jumped into the puddle so big that for you to like step out and be like, never mind, people will be like, what was that? You know, like you're in.
I don't think they would care. I don't think anyone would even bat an eye. They'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, I guess I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, listen, man, you made 70 podcasts already, so people are invested in what you have to say.
No, I mean, well, I definitely am. I'm the one putting them on. Yeah, that's kind of the same idea, because my podcast is by no means like a major viewing of my channel, let alone in general for people.
Right.
But there are some dedicated listeners, which is super dope.
Yeah.
And it is that North Star idea. It's like, dude, I'm just going to keep chugging along, and maybe by episode 300, maybe something's happened, you know?
Also, do you like what you're doing? Because it can get tough at mics, but you have to fall back in love with going to mics. You have to fall back in love with writing and with the excitement. Like, do you still get like that nervous stomach thing when you're like, all right, I'm next, and then they call your name and it's like this.
Yeah, because I want to be funny.
Something's about to happen.
Right.
And whether I'm about to kill or I'm about to bomb, I still have this wild excitement about when I'm about to go up. And I've been doing comedy for 6 years, and it's been mostly just miserable. But that feeling is never. I don't think it's going to go away. It's exciting.
But is it exciting enough to keep doing? That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, no, dude. I do think like we're all just kind of like pushing mud up a hill. Like we're just it feels like a struggle, but it is a voluntary struggle. I overheard a comic the other day at an open mic. He was really like bathing in that whole tortured artist thing. He was like, oh, I hate when comics are like, I'm so happy to be here. Like, I really want to be here. He's like, I don't want to be here. He's like, I have to be here. He's like, I have to make this joke work or I'm going to jump off the bridge. And I was like, dude,
what the fuck?
Just kill yourself.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, first of all, no one needs another comic. We have all the comedy, you know what I mean? Like, no one needs you. Like, if you are just carrying the weight of the world of like, oh, my struggle to be a comic, like, I don't think you're ever going to matter, because you should have a joy about it. It should be something that whether you blow up or you just stay with the same amount of followers and you just keep doing Otto's Shrunken Head until, oof.
Well, I don't want to do that.
No, that is a sad proposition. But like, I think like doing it for the sake of you love it, and then because you love it, you do it the best you can. Then something's gonna happen. Something good is gonna come of it. It has to.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm destroying myself getting there.
That's interesting.
And I'm just like, is all this destruction worth whatever I'm headed towards, which I haven't even fully defined for myself. Like, I don't have a set goal of like, oh, Comedy Cellar, Netflix special, this or that. I don't have a set thing.
Maybe it's good to be destroyed though, because I agree with you. I think I used to think comedy was making me a worse person, because in conversations I would just be like, this is boring, you know, cut to the punchline. You know, my mom told me this incredible story of how my cousin has a long lost brother, but she took 6 minutes to tell me the story, and I was like, Mom, you got to get to the punchline. And I was like, come on. She's like, I didn't know how to. I was like, Mom, come on.
Here's the thing, though.
You're never gonna get past with that story.
I say the same thing to other people. I'm just saying, hey, let's go. But then when it's my turn to talk, I flesh out every fucking little detail that's unnecessary. Yes. And why do I do it? I don't know.
But what I was thinking of is, you say you're destroying yourself. Comedy is really humbling, and I think it's important. Like, being humble is so not 2019. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, being you're supposed to be like stunting. You're supposed to be like brash and like, you know, I look at the confidence of young people and I'm like, oh my God, like how do you, but doing comedy like humbles you, and you're thankful for the spots you do get, and you're thankful for the laughs you get. I think it's probably like burning away a lot of ego for you. You know what I mean?
Well, I've never had a super big ego. And any moment I did, I would always check it by calling myself a piece of shit and believing it. So so I think I'm okay on the ego part. It was just like, because I knew coming into it, I wasn't going to be very funny to start, but I knew I had to start somewhere till I get somewhere, right? Yeah. And I would definitely say I'm funnier now than I was a year ago, less than a year ago when I started. But
see, I was gonna say you've been doing comedy a couple years now.
No,
a couple years. Everything's a couple. Oh
years. Yeah, okay. No, it's although it's starting to feel like that, because it's just like, fuck, man, this is such. Because I think I'm feeling something that someone told me once, which is like when you first start, you get this exponential growth in terms of like how good you're getting, but then you hit a point where like the improvements are only incremental now. They're not like skyrocketing. So like my improvement from mic 0 to mic 5 is the same kind of jump that I'll get only from doing mic 100 to 300. You know, it may take me 200 more mics to make that much of a jump.
I've had a different perspective. I think that in the first 2 years, I just really was saying stuff that I thought was funny that I didn't know how to convey properly. Like, I would crack myself up on stage, but if I would go back and listen to the tape, no one else was laughing.
Right.
It was the ramblings of a madman. And through going to so much, seeing so much comedy, writing so much, trying so many different types of comedy, like what if I just try to tell a weird story up there? You know, what if I try to tell just one-liners? What if I do more like about my depression or about how I always feel insecure and I want to please, you know what I mean? Like just try, like, how about this? How about this? How about this? Like, I think in the last year, I've gotten way better. And I'm in my 6th year of comedy now. I'm about to, it's 6 years now. So that thing of like that boost that you're looking for to level up is totally coming for you. Like you just have to keep going. You just have to keep going.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, man. It's just like keep going, keep destroying yourself, keep destroying yourself. It's like, fuck, man, it hurts. It's not a good pain, you know. It's like that gym soreness that just doesn't go away and you just don't see the muscles coming. So you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That's growth. That's telling you that your material needs to change. That's telling you need to hit
mics. You think?
That's telling you your mics, you need to hit more mics. You need to write more. That's what that is. Because if you're
So here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing. Those things are obvious as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So why is it then my mind should go, okay, let's sit down and write some today because you want to be funny later, tonight or tomorrow or next week. But then nothing comes. You're just like, well, maybe I just don't got it, you know? Maybe I just don't got it.
I don't know how to sit down and write either. I tell myself all the time, I'm gonna go out to the coffee shop and I'm gonna write, and then I'll go to a mic later. And usually what happens is I drink too much coffee and end up sneaker shopping. It's just, but you know what? Like, I'll write in the shower. I actually wrote 2 jokes while I was rollerblading here, which was very dangerous.
Let's hear them. All
right, cool.
Let's workshop them now. Fuck it.
Keep your brain on.
My brain's always on, but that's my point. Is like sometimes I'm just sitting there with my brain on and nothing's coming.
Yeah.
Not that it should. It's not like you just sit there and zoom, you get hit with an idea. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that does happen to me. I'm just saying, like, to actively sit down and be like, okay, time to come up with the next big joke.
I don't know anyone who can do that, but I know like guys like Jerry Seinfeld will schedule time and they'll sit down and they'll write. Jerry Seinfeld has written a lot of great jokes over the years, and he's a big proponent. Did you ever see that special that he did? Where he, I don't know if it was Comedian or it was the newer one, where he said he showed his old calendar, and it was like 28 days out of the whole month where he wrote for 5 hours a day, and he has an X through those days, and he says it bothered him so much to see a day where there wasn't an X that he's like OCD about it. He's like, I have to get my X every day, and I think if you have the patience and the diligence to actually sit down and write. 5 hours is insane. No one even works for 5 hours a day anymore. I'm convinced of it. If you know what I mean, like you're there present, but you're not actually working the whole time. So I mean, I think if you could write for half an hour a day, that's a great goal to have. And something will come. There's no way you're gonna sit there for 30 minutes every day and nothing's gonna come. So
Well, I'll challenge you to that, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, let's workshop a couple years, then I'll pull out a couple minds. We'll see where we're at.
I was messaging you because I was running late. I was like 2:30. I was like 2:20, and then I was like 2:30. LOL. And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you get a text from someone that said, oh, I'll be right there. I'm a block away, and then they get hit by a car and die. And so for your whole life, you just keep thinking that person's a block away, and it's like they're haunting you. It's so fucking stupid. They're not all bangers.
I'm just trying to think of how, because I see the funny thought in it, but I'm trying to think for you how I would rewrite that. I would be like,
dude, he said he was a block away. It's like maybe he's still right behind me.
But then, so what kills that joke for me is like knowing that you must have figured out at some point, whether it's today or maybe a month from now, if it takes that long for you to find out that your friend, however good or bad of a friend he is, that you finally find out he dies. Like, wouldn't that kill the moment?
But he was coming to you. He was a block away, and then he never got there, and then he died.
And then
I don't know.
Your funny thought is that you're haunted by the idea that he's always a block away.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, wouldn't the haunting stop once you found out that he was dead? Well,
because he's dead now. He is haunting you. He's dead. He's a ghost.
So how about his ghost is always a block away? So It's like you're scared, but you know you got some room to run if he starts catching up. Something like that. I don't know.
He's coming for me. He's always a block away, so I got to keep moving.
So maybe the way to make it funnier is like beefing up the premise beforehand. So like so your friend was coming over. In this case, you were using this concrete example, you coming to see me. And the reason for that was a podcast. But let's try to warp the premise so that it creates a reason for him to be haunting. Like, why would your friend be on his way to come see you?
He's like, hey man, I got some real shit to talk to you about. And it's like, I don't really want to freak you out about it, but I really just need to talk to you in person.
Right.
I'll be right there. I'm a block away. And then he dies.
So that adds a little bit more credibility to the joke, but I feel like you still need a specific example of like, you need to, in my opinion, at least, you would need to hash out exactly what that was. Yeah. Even if you never found out, the audience needs to know what he was coming to tell you.
Yeah.
And it has to be something that you could link to being haunted with for the rest of your life. I don't know. Maybe he was coming over to tell you were going to get AIDS from him or something. I don't know. Like, I can't think of like what would help the haunting become funny.
I feel like this is a Goosebumps episode or chapter or something.
But it's kind of like a storybook. It's like there has to be stakes, right? So and maybe the stakes from that premise of, I got to tell you something in person, that piqued my interest, but it didn't satisfy the connection to the ghost being a block away forever to be funny enough.
That's interesting.
At least for me.
I thought of it more as like a one-liner, like, oh, my friend was coming to see me, and he said he was a block away, and then he died, and now his ghost is always a block away. I don't know.
So I think that actually works a little bit better because you kept it shorter, but we also added the whole ghost as a block away.
Okay, cool.
Because before you were just like, now he's just haunting me.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Which I'm just like, all right.
His ghost being a block away sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I think we figured it out,
dude.
That was. Bop.
Now we'll go to a mic and it won't work and we'll want to kill ourselves.
No, I'm just saying it. I think we improved that idea.
Thanks.
I think.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I like it too.
Because I didn't even come up with the final one. Because I started with adding the ghost being a block away, but then I kept it going to some direction you didn't want to take it, and then you brought it back to what you wanted, which was a one-liner.
Yeah.
And because of everything we discussed, you found the way to keep it a one-liner. So that's kind of cool, I think.
Good looks, man. Good looks.
This is why I think more people need to sit down and write together, because I don't think I'm very funny, especially not a writer, but I think collaboration always, if not almost always, is productive as opposed to, destructive. Even if it's two unfunny people sitting together, I would trust two unfunny people to eventually come up with something funny enough versus one guy sitting alone trying to figure it out. I think. I don't know.
I think that's true. I think that I never really ran my jokes by anybody for a long time, and so I just stayed bad.
But they're not. But this wasn't even a joke. This was a funny thought you had on the way over here.
Right.
And we just turned it into a one-liner.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And you're gonna try it. At some places it may work better than others. But
I just thought of a second part of it too.
Let's do it.
And it's like he never texted me back, so he ghosted me.
Okay, see, hey,
and
I like this.
And his ghost is always a block away. something like that.
Okay, yeah. So no, this is perfect because using ghosting is perfect because he literally ghosted you.
Yes.
I was literally ghosted.
Yeah.
That's not the punch, but that's like an emphasis in
like
the joke.
An extra tag or something.
Yeah. It's like, because it's ghosting the concept, which everyone knows. Well, if you have a younger audience, I think you need a younger texting audience. I don't think you could pull that joke off with adults who don't text.
Yeah.
Because adults don't know what ghosting is.
Yeah.
You know.
Ghosting, I bet every adult,
Unless you explained it up top. I don't know.
I think adults just act like just ghost people like way more frequently, and it's not even like if two 50-year-old buddies are in a text conversation and one of them asks a question like, you want to grab dinner later, and the other one never responds, like neither of them care.
Right.
You know, like, I'll see you down at racquetball.
I must be busy doing something real.
Yeah, they don't sit by the phone like, oh my God, like
exactly. So yeah, that was good. You said you had another one?
Yeah, did I? Oh, okay. I love this time of year. I love when September's coming around because I was a nerd in high school, in school, and I really loved the structure of school because like just having all the periods and having the homework. I didn't love home. I just liked the structure of school. And the summertime, like in school, it was all about like, oh, I got a 90 on a quiz and I got a triple double in gym class. Yeah, I kept stats. So what? And then there was soccer practice after school or whatever. There was just so much structure about my life. But in the summertime, it was all about smoking weed and touching boobs, and I wasn't good at either of those.
Why wouldn't you be good at smoking weed?
Because I don't smoke weed. I can't. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the summertime, I was a very nervous and anxious person, and in the summer there was nowhere to put that anxiety. It was just like it was like the day was like 47 hours long, and I hate myself.
All right, so that I don't think would be relatable to a crowd that's coming to see a comedy show because in general they're happy-go-lucky.
They like the summer.
And everyone loves the summer as a kid.
And nobody likes school.
Right, yeah, exactly. So maybe you can play within that to be like, how do I flip it so that I make school look like the misery? Or I'm sorry, make school look like the joyful time.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I know everyone's working for the weekend. Everyone can't wait for summer break. School's out for summer, right? Well, not for me. That's when the madness sets in.
Right.
That's when everyone's out here had pool parties, smoking joints, touching boobs.
So now you're saying all that, and the audience is like, and? So like, I don't know that they're going to follow that that's not something you're good at just based on those words you were using.
I almost think this might be better as like a skit, like the nervous nerds of summertime, you know, like how do they cope?
Well, yeah, because then at least as a skit, you've already established with the title, the realm, which is nervous kids in the summer.
Yeah.
So clearly it's summertime and these kids are nervous. Why? You're going to find out in a minute.
Yeah.
So maybe that's...
Yeah, cool. I mean, dude, you have the juices. They're in you still.
Well, I mean, I haven't made them funny yet. I'm just like redirecting you to other stuff to consider, but it's still not a finished product. So I don't know it doesn't matter until it's finished. Because a lot of people have funny ideas, but they never go anywhere.
It always interests. I think that as we develop as comedians, it's important to go to those rooms in your mind that you keep coming back to, but you're like, I don't know what's in that room. It's a messy room. You know what I mean? Like there's feelings in that room, but I can't identify them.
Right. Yeah, like, you can't articulate them to a fucking
I always
audience.
used to get depressed in the summer, and I was like, what is that? I was like, there's sun, there's fun.
Could you maybe use an angle of loneliness? Was there an angle of loneliness? Like I used to see all my friends in school, but I'm such a fucking loser. No one wants to hang out with me outside of school.
Yeah.
So now in the summertime, there's no school at all, so I can't even see them then. So now it's just like pure lonely misery. That's the angle I would take.
Yes.
And I relate to that just by having a summer birthday because like everyone else got a fucking hey, happy birthday. Like 80 people told you happy birthday in one day. Back in school times, before cell phones, before social media.
Yeah.
The only way you were told happy birthday is if people fucking saw you and knew it was your birthday. So that's the only reason I hated summer birthdays because I was like, no one's around to fucking wish me a happy birthday.
So my birthday is February 3rd, and a lot of times it's on the Super Bowl. So like that's something. It's also the day after Groundhog's Day, so it's the good part of the Bill Murray movie. Like if he gets to February 3rd, that means it's a happy ending for him. But it's a sad time of year. February is probably the most depressing month. And I was always jealous of people with summer birthdays because they got pool parties.
Well, my point is if you had friends,
Oh, yeah. Big caveat there. Or a pool.
Right. Yeah. Or a pool.
Yeah. One or the other.
I mean, I had friends growing up, but like, I've started to realize actually that I think I'm extremely lonely because there's no one I can like fully talk to fully. So like I have a particular kind of relationship with my parents where I can't say certain things in front of them because I just the parent-child dynamic is such that I just can't do it.
Oh, dude, that's another one I wrote about that on my way over too. Like the idea of like, we're all doing some fake shit in our lives. And it's like, have you ever had a real conversation with your mom? Like a real one.
Right.
You're always like, yeah, Mom, I'll see you for brunch. And yeah, I'll be wearing the khakis. And it's like, you want to be like, Mom, I don't think things are going to get better for me. I think they've gotten as good as they're going to get. We can stop expecting, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but even more specific conversations, like, there will never be a time where I'll go up to my mom and like tell her the coolest thing that just happened in the TV show I just watched. Even something as simple as that. And that's not a conversation we can have.
Yeah.
Same thing with like comedians. I can say certain things around them, but not others. And then, I have a friend group where like certain things I appeal to me don't appeal to them.
Yeah.
And that's just any and everybody, right?
Compartmentalizing. It's
with a girlfriend, you can't have certain discussions with them that you can't have with your boys. And then all the way around. So like there's always these fragments, at least in my case, where like I can't be my one true self with one specific person, let alone a multiple of them.
This is another I really relate to this topic a lot. I had an idea for a one-liner the other day, which was I want to go to a party, but every time I go to a party, I'm there. Ugh, I hate that guy.
That's decent.
And then the other idea of like I want to invite all my friends to a party, but then I'll have to bring all my personalities, like who I am to each person, and my brain will explode. Something like that.
Too much work, yeah.
How do you make that? That's all wordy, but the concept of that is what's important because I can.
No, I meant literally it's too much work on your brain. But,
yeah.
But also, the joke also does need work to punch it up.
Like how I am with you isn't how I am with Jimmy Peoples,
right?
And how I am with my brother, and I do a lot of that. I do a lot of gymnastics. Based on who I'm around, and I'm really susceptible to peer pressure. I do have a problem with drinking and drugs and stuff, and I'm discovering who I am now because I haven't done drugs in a year and a half or so. I can't really.
Oh, damn it. It's on delay. I don't know how to fucking fix this thing, man. It's always on delay. Anyway.
Also, it's kind of quiet. It's kind of like a short sound. It could go longer.
No, it does go long.
Thank you.
I love how you just wanted more applause.
We can take it where we get it.
You're a real comic. Oh, by the way, I didn't get to tell you that. I don't get this elation from laughs. I just get relief. It's like, oh, that worked.
Okay, interesting.
Like I don't walk off from a good set and go, fuck yeah. I just go, woo.
Yeah. What?
Maybe because I know it's not real yet. It's not the seller. It's not a special. It's not a actual. I don't know, because it's still all just open mics. I mean, I've done a couple shows, but even then, I was just like, because it's almost shows to me at this stage of where I'm at. It's and I'm sure it holds true for everybody continuously to some extent, but tell me if I'm wrong, but like you feel obligated now to provide laughs because it's a show,
right?
So it's you're going to resort to those jokes that have had laughs in the past.
Right.
So now you're just going through the motions, and then when it actually gives you the feedback you did want or hoped, you'd be like, whew, what a relief that I thought that would work and it did work as expected. Okay,
I don't feel a responsibility to do my corniest jokes. You know what I mean? My the ones that I'm not, you know what I mean? Like the ones that you're sick of, but you're like, I could get some laughs out of that. Cause it's a bar show. It's a free show. I like that it's
actually, when it's a free show, maybe it's a little.
Yeah. Bar shows are, I like to do jokes that I'm happy with, that I'm excited to get up on stage and tell. I fall out of love with jokes pretty quickly because I'll do them for a while.
They're all trash, am I right?
Hey!
God damn it.
I'll do them for a while. They'll kind of work. So I'll do them at my show for like a month. And then I'll be like, I don't want to fucking say this one anymore. And so I think that's the process of finding the ones that you do like that do work. And I always wondered, like, is there such a thing as a comic who is a slave to his jokes? Like, he hates his jokes, but they kill, so he has to do them. And I think that would really suck, because then it's like you're not doing comedy, you're like reciting comedy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm just like so out of touch with watching comedy now, because it's just like I've either seen literally this act already, or I've already kind of know where this is headed.
Yeah.
And but I would argue if you are a good enough comedian where you're coming up with killer material,
Yeah.
you should be able to come up with more.
Yes.
You know, because that killing came from your perspective, not from you discovering certain words to put together, and there's only so many.
You didn't hack a code. You became you become in touch with your voice. Yeah.
Right,
and,
right.
and people are liking your voice now.
Right,
so
right.
so you're at the point now where whatever you say, they're like, I like what this guy's got
Right,
to say. They'll take a ride with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
Hell yeah, dude. I totally agree with that. I used to say like Louis could read the phone book, and I'd laugh at it because I just love the way he talks.
Yeah, because you've built a trust from him that you're like, okay, anytime he puts something out with that voice of his, I'm into it. You know? Or at least I'm going to give it a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've felt the same thing. Like I have a show coming up in Broadway Comedy Club.
Okay.
And I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't want to do the hitters. I want to have a new act for it, but it's just like, that's silly. That's like, it's not going to fly.
How do you feel about like crowd work? I know we were talking about it a little bit before.
I wish I was much better at
Are you
it.
a bit of a ham? I don't know.
What
I
does
feel
that
like
mean?
Are you like ham? Like, hey everybody, how you doing? What's up? Oh, this girl, she knows what I'm talking. Do you ever do any like that, like cheesy schmaltzy?
Not really.
So are you too shy for that?
Yeah.
Or are you like you are?
Too shy for it, and I don't think I'm funny enough for it. But it is something I should just try to do more. But when I typically resort to it, it's when the crowd of open mic is like literally 4 people or less. If it's 4 people or less, I'm not fucking doing my material. Like, why?
Okay.
Why am I doing it?
Fair enough.
You know?
Fair enough. Have you ever thought about hosting? Just trying it?
I have hosted. Granted, it was in Iowa, but I haven't hosted anything here.
Yeah.
But hosting is really so far. So like I've done it twice now.
Mm-hmm.
Not my favorite thing in the world.
No. I mean,
But
it's kind of like a.
Yeah, it's kind of a necessary skill. And I'm saying I got better at it the second time than the first time. So maybe it's just this uncomfortable zone that I should keep exploring.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, I don't, it's just not my favorite to like open the show.
Yeah, people say it's a valuable skill. It's stage,
Oh, of course it's a valuable
time,
skill.
and you work on stage presence. And also, I think that there's one thing that guys that are good at hosting, they have this thing that other comics don't. Whereas, like, if their comedy isn't hitting, they have a whole arsenal in their back pocket that other comics don't have, which is, oh, this guy, what do you want to talk about? You know what I mean? They can just start riffing on the crowd, and then the crowd is going to be like, oh my God, he's funny on the spot. And that just, for some reason, dude, it's just like,
it's pure.
It tickles motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's pure.
Yeah.
Because like I said, comics and an audience alike, like everyone can enjoy good crowd work because it's real, it's raw, and it's in the moment. Granted, some of it you have prepared, like, especially if you're like one of these road comics or just, if you've been a comic long enough, you've come up with certain scenarios so many times that the next time it comes up, you know exactly what kind of crowd work to do.
Sure.
But I think that's still valuable because it's still an on-the-spot decision. None of that's rehearsed clearly. You know?
Yeah, I think when I'm at a show and a comic is like, you know, that like 1,000-yard stare where like they're not even in the room, they're just doing their jokes.
Yep, the worst.
Waiting for the laughs. The laughs come, but
Ain't nobody got time for this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just takes you out of the room. And so somebody can have the best written set and just go up there and do great with it. But if the next guy like really plays with the room a little bit, he's going to get more out of them. And they're going to remember that more because it's going to feel intimate.
Right. No, I mean, that's literally what I did yesterday. I just kind of did crowd work. I was like, hey, you had the comic right before me. You had amazing eye contact, which I really suck at. So I'm just going to stare at you for the next like couple minutes, if that's cool. So like and you see how you were laughing. The other people in the crowd started to laugh a little bit. And I just kind of went around the room. I shit on the host a little bit, but then I was just like, this is actually literally what I told him. I'm like, dude, I got to be honest with you. I really didn't like your act. But yeah, and then then the whole room's like, oh, and I'm like, let me finish. But your cadence and rhythm was such that it like kept me tuned in, and you had these glistening eyes that were so beautiful, and I just like went off on that whole tangent.
Funny.
So yeah, that was me, quote, working the crowd. But like,
Yeah.
I tried a couple other of my jokes, which I've tried in Iowa. I've tried a couple places here, and that has worked. There, it just fell flat. I don't know if it was just. Someone once said, a crowd can feel when you're not even trying. Or like when you're not sold on your own material. Oh, yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of my bits, where I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying this.
What about this? I was at a mic and I said something really off the cuff that killed. And so I tried to replicate that at the next mic. And I felt so insincere and fake, and I was like,
"Is that yeah?" Because not only did it not work, you didn't fucking want it to work.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. It's like yuck.
So I think the best way to be a comic is to be present in your jokes, to be like living in the joke, so that people see you're not like, oh, I was walking to the mall one day. You know what I mean? Take us to the mall with you. Like, I'm in the mall right now. So live in your jokes, and then also live in the room where you're doing the jokes, you know what I mean? Like, so this hyper awareness that, like, you know, as you're telling the story, you have to be able to see what they see and be like, someone just farted, didn't they? You know what I mean? Like, something's happening in the room while you're doing your thing, and the best comics can kind of pick up on stuff.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. It's a hard thing, but yeah, I'm working on it.
I want to take a left turn with you, if that's all right. I don't want to steer the ship. But
Let's do it.
Skirt! You have a skirt sound in there?
What's the closest thing? Maybe
streaking? What about breaking glass? Anything?
Nah, just maybe this one. Oh, he got him.
These are fake.
Oh, you confirmed it?
I got them. I bought fake Nike Prestos on eBay, and
dude, yeah, I see the Chinese tag right there. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, but bro, no one's gonna be looking in my shoe.
Yeah, but I mean, you know. So.
I'm working, dude. It's actually inspired me to write a bunch of jokes because I was like, you know what, man, I'm at an age in my life where just enjoy your life, enjoy the shoes. I know that the sneaker community is gonna hate on me, but there's only 500 actual sneakerheads in the world, and most people would make fun of me if I bought $2,500 sneakers.
Actually, I'm gonna go
grab. Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna grab my pair real quick.
Do it side by side.
Let's see.
And I know mine are gonna fail in comparison, but they're really in my hand.
Dude, they just feel wrong to me.
Yeah.
All right, so this is mine. Yeah, just touch.
Oh, yeah.
Just touch the Flyknit and compare.
Yeah.
It's like not even close.
If you stick your fingers in the shoe too, it's very firm.
Yeah, yours is extremely firm. This is very, and even just the look of it. Let me just.
And the tongue is supposedly shorter.
The tongue is shorter.
Is it?
I can't tell. And this.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. They look very similar.
No, I mean they're similar enough that no one can tell the difference unless they literally had a pair of them in their hands. Because no one's going to do that. You're going to be fucking wearing them on your shoe. No one's going to be like, hey, stop right there.
Exactly.
You know, so
I was always so afraid of that, of being called out by the community, and it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, as long as you own it, as long as you own that it's fake, I think you're fine. You know?
I'm proud of myself. I bought some shoes that I've wanted those shoes for so long, and look at the tip of the swoosh on mine. You can see that's fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because this one's a lot sharper.
It protrudes out too.
Yep. And then what's the other? I think this orange piece is a little. Yeah, this is way stiffer. It's stiffer and it's longer. I think. You see that? A little bit longer.
Cool.
What
I know
else?
those are irregular though. They don't have the exact same.
Yeah, and the font is different.
Oh yeah.
See that? Well, or maybe mine's just a little more dirty. Maybe, but
Honestly,
it looks different.
They look like the same exact shoe to me. And
no, I mean you could definitely fool people with this.
Yeah.
But actually,
what about the print on the inside of the you know what I mean, the off-white printing on the inside of the on the side.
Yeah, actually, on the inside.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, disclaimer: do not send me. People send me like legit check requests all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm not a legit checker. And the golden rule for me of legit checking is never do it over photos.
Oh, yeah.
Because whether it's stock images or whatever, like that's not good enough. Like you need to hold them in hand.
True.
Just literally pulling on the material was enough to tell me. And you won't be able to tell that from just a photo.
Right.
But let's see. I mean, this looks a little more faded than mine.
Yeah,
Mine's a little bit more prominent. And then the other thing is actually look at the you've kind of worn away the arrow symbol thing. Like you see mine is still in there.
Yeah. And I wore those one time, by the way.
But hey, there's one clue, right? Because I've worn these countless times,
Yeah,
and the thing is still in there.
And they're both size 11. How's the size look? Are they same size?
They look fairly similar, but this one looks a little wider to me. Mine, at least, but whatever.
Yeah,
but more prominent than that is look at the arrow font. Like you see how much thicker, because a little bit of your arrows are still left.
Yeah, mine were thicker. Yeah.
Yeah, you see how much thicker that is than mine.
True.
So,
You know, it's funny.
clue.
So I was always
And the biggest giveaway again is this Chinese tag, the Chinese sticker on the inside. That's because I don't have anything like that.
Pass me yours real quick.
It's not in there.
So disclaimer for me, I only bought these so I could swap them and steal yours. I feel like I was always afraid to buy fakes because I just thought they were going to be really bad quality.
Right.
I'm so happy with the quality of these and the fact that I saved $2,200 by buying the fake ones. I don't know, man. It was kind of like giving myself the freedom to be weird and different.
Right,
and like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like it's okay to not have the authentic, like here's the thing, I bought them with real money and they're really on my real feet. And here's the other thing, I used to do fake cocaine, but I was really addicted to it.
Jesus
So it's
Christ.
inspired a whole bunch of like material for me too.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
And also this is a placeholder. Like one day when I am rich, I'll buy the real ones.
Yeah, there you go, man. But yeah, dude, it's the fakes are getting so fucking good. It's like really annoying.
Yeah, it kind of, I'm kind of impressed that this is basically a tribute to how popular this shoe is. Like this shoe is so successful and so desirable that some guy went into a factory and, got a bunch of Chinese people, probably against their will, and made them make their own version of the sneaker.
Happy ending, if I were to say so. But no, what was I gonna say? Fucking.
My girlfriend noticed that the tip of the extra tongue on mine is shorter. Does yours seem to poke out?
How did she notice? She has a pair?
She just said, "Oh, actually, I have a pair. I have the white ones."
Oh, okay, yeah. That's I saw you wear those.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm quite happy with them. I mean,
as long as you're happy with.
Would you ever wear fakes?
So
I know you have.
I wouldn't, because obviously I have the means. So it's like, if I'm going to be doing this, why not get the real thing? Because to me, these are pieces of artwork.
Yeah.
So it would
I
be
love
like
them.
me buying a Picasso replica as opposed to like the real thing.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know.
Right. Also, if you're gonna have a Picasso that you literally wear on your feet in this dirty ass city, you're devaluing your Picasso with every use.
You would argue that, but some would argue that the experiences you build in these shoes.
Yeah.
You don't now from that argument, you don't need them to be real. They just have to, whatever.
The point is, I needed these sneakers in my life. I've thought about them every day since they dropped in 2017. I'm not even kidding. Like I've been insane. I thought I could satiate myself by buying the white ones, and then I custom dyed them.
Yeah, so
and it turned into the whole process. And then after that process, I felt worse because I wasn't happy. So I bought these, and you know what? I feel pretty good.
This delay is killing me.
Thank you very much.
But no, that's a good point, man. I actually ran into a kid. So I was at this concert.
Oh,
and
feel this too. They got the nubs.
I'm not,
Remember you were telling me about that?
I'm not talking about shit. Get out of here. But I was at this concert, and this kid had a legit, like the entire can front of ramen or box front of ramen. He was wearing as like a jumper, shirt, and the pants.
Cool.
And then on his feet, he had Yeezys. He had 350 blue tints on.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I wasn't paying very close attention because I don't give a shit, and I figure most people don't. But he was just like, yeah, dude, I got this off XYZ Chinese website that just sells replica shit. And you feel the quality. It's like absolute ass. But he's like, yeah, I got it for less than $5.
Of the suit or
the suit. And then he goes, yeah, and these Yeezys aren't even real either. I just got them off the same website. Whole outfit, $5, baby. And I was just like, this kid is legit. He just owns.
Oh, yo, that's tight.
He just owned it. He was just like, yeah, dude. Fit for $5, and I got your attention, motherfucker. Like, and not that he was trying to do that. He was a sweet kid. I put the picture up on Instagram. I took a photo with him. I took a photo. I'm like, yo, this kid knows what's up, man.
Legit check on him.
Yeah, right. Because he just owned it, and there's something to it where you just own it, and you're just like, you know what? I don't need the fucking real shits.
Yeah.
The real shit is me. I'm the one rocking this shit. So I'm gonna, Gucci doesn't make me. I make Gucci.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. So I really was very impressed by that. But for me, again, I think it's just a function of having the funds to be able to indulge in the real thing.
Yeah, true.
But
true,
I
true.
mean,
I have 100 pairs of Nikes too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm totally all in, and
Right.
I buy the real shit. I got the Travis Scott ones, the Air Jordan ones. I got those. I'm scared to wear them because I just see the value keep going up on them. But I'm all about that real life. This is a sneaker that I need in my life, and it's over $2,000 to buy a pair.
Right.
So it's made out of mesh. Like if one person in New York City steps on them with poop on their shoe, they're gonna ruin my shoe.
yeah, but it builds character.
$2,000.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
more
the problem.
people would make fun of me for buying $2,000 sneakers than buying fake Chinese replicas.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, for me, the other thing too is like because I can definitely notice the difference in a fake, just from the feel of it.
Yeah.
And only in relation to literally having the pair in hand. So like outside this, I never would have. If you had handed me those, and I didn't own these, let alone I had never worn these, I would not be able to tell those were fake.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Actually, no. I take it back. The Chinese sticker, dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
I mean,
Where'd you say you bought them?
I got them
eBay?
off a guy on eBay.
eBay,
I should plug him. I should give him his name.
Fuck that, dude. I actually, speaking of Prestos, I got fucked on a pair of Prestos recently. So yeah, this asshole sent me. He says I only buy sneakers that say new with box because to me the box is part of the entire experience.
True.
Now he says in the description new with box, and apparently in the sub description in fucking German or whatever language he writes, he goes custom box or cardboard box or something. It comes here. It's got like the top of the Nike box, but then it's literally just 4 pieces of cardboard that he just taped together with the top of. Like what? What happened to the real box? You went through all this extra work to anyway. And then
Some other guy got the legit box and the fake top.
Like, I don't get it. What the fuck? So the shoes were legit, but I was like, no, dude, you fucked me. Wow. So and this is days before I'm going back to Iowa for another 2 weeks, and I started a complaint or whatever. I was like, I want refund because these are not as described, which is new with box. And he refused. He's like, nah, in the sub description I said it. I was like, fuck. Then why does it still say new with box? There is an option, and I've seen it where it says damaged box or no box or whatever. Yeah. So
it's literally not new with box.
Yeah, it's literally not. And then he kept fucking refusing. And then eBay says you have to give them an X number of days to quarrel amongst yourselves, and then if there's still an issue, then we can step in. So I had to fucking wait for this grace period to go away, but that grace period was going to go away after I left. So I was like, dude, fucking, I'm leaving. I left it clearly in the message, dude, I'm leaving town. Start the fucking return. You're not going to win this.
Yeah.
Please, I'm leaving town. I got to get these shoes back to you. He refused, and then eBay stepped in, and surprise, they sided with me. And then they say, oh, you have to have the shoes returned to him before this date. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even back before that date. And I've clearly said in these messages, start the return so I don't get fucked. And they're like, yeah, sorry, we can't do anything. That's eBay policy. I'm like, dude, so because this asshole was a douchebag for a couple extra days, now he gets rewarded for it, basically. Fucking ridiculous.
That reminds me of the waiting tables. Like when someone's like, I demand a refund. I want to see a manager. This is not what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. And then the manager always like takes something off their check and gives them a free dessert. And I'm like, why does the asshole get free stuff? You know what I mean? Why does being a jerk get rewarded in our society? Like if you complain enough.
I don't know if that's the
But you know what I mean?
best analogy.
I don't like when somebody is just a stubborn jerk and then you get rewarded for it.
Yeah, no, it was.
That's not cool. But so you still have the shoes?
No, so I shipped them back to the address. I had a friend come in to actually pick them up from here. And I'm like, please, do you mind just shipping these and sending me the receipt and blah, blah, blah. And I put in the tracking number and now nothing's showing up. So they must have lost the shoes. Thank God I insured it. So I should be able to get my money back. I just haven't called them yet to get it back. But it's just like, what kind of fucking loops to jump through for what? Like, it's just fucking
But like you got
stupid.
the sheet. I actually was thinking about this on the way over because you don't have any of your boxes in there. Where are your boxes?
Majority of the boxes are in my old house because I brought the shoes over from when I moved. And I'm literally out of space now. And those closets behind, they're filled with shoe boxes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was just thinking that. I was like, where does he keep his boxes?
Yeah. So I got to find a new solution because lately I bought a fuck ton of new shoes. I bought the MCA Off-Whites, the beautiful blue Air Force Ones.
Cool.
I bought both new Paras, the Dunk Lows and the Blazer Low GTs.
Gotcha.
And then I also bought a pair of Pumas, Ralph Sampson OGs.
Nice. The red, white, and blue?
No, just the original colorway. It was like a super silky grayish type of thing.
Okay.
And then there's one more I think I bought. Drawing a blank right now, but yeah, they're all just sitting at my home. So I gotta go pick them up at some point, or have my sister bring them down. Or I think my mom's coming to visit actually this weekend, so I'll see if I don't think she has space enough to bring them all, but I'll figure it out. So yeah, that's my new solution: just like have them open there and then brought down here. But
okay.
I don't know. Then I gotta trust my sister to fucking open the boxes and shit. So yeah, whatever.
I really want the Wave Runners, the 700s.
Dude.
I want them. They're dropping on Saturday, but
yeah.
I don't know if they're going to drop on the website.
They should.
They're talking.
I think they already did. I got an email.
They had like a quick release the other day, and I missed them. They dropped it at like 8 a.m. or something.
Gotcha. But it makes it. So anytime I see a pair of shoes that says full size run, meaning men's, women's, and kids, if you even have tried the first day of release, you should be able to get them. So if you have tried this Saturday, I'm sure you should be able to get it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean. That's just a beautiful sneaker, and it's funny to me because like they can't seem to get it right with any other colorway.
No,
it's just
it's by far the best one.
It's the bread one, the easy
of dad shoes. Yeah, no, it's aged remarkably well. I think it's gonna, in my opinion, it's gonna be like the flagship model from this dad shoe era as it continues to die.
And honestly, I don't even know. I don't think the shoe's particularly comfortable.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have flat feet, so I have like arches. So I'm probably gonna have to put like an insole in them. It's a whole process. I kind of wish I could just forget about the shoe, but it's similar to the Prestos. I can't get them out of my head. And
no, they're great, man. I love mine.
Yeah,
I don't wear them enough just because I feel obligated to wear other shoes. That's the other reason. Sometimes I get mad sometimes that I have so many shoes, which just sounds super fucking dumb. But,
I'm mad too, yeah.
Because it's just like
you can only wear one pair at a time.
That's the thing, and I'm just like I want to wear you, dude, every day. I fucking love you so much, but like there's all these other fucking shoes I want to wear, So it's like that's got to be a joke somewhere, like personalizing a shoe to be like a girlfriend that you love, but like you can't spend time with because there's all these other bitches you're into.
Well, I was working on jokes for buying the fake sneakers. It was like, so what if they're fake? I'm a fake person. I just tell people what they want to hear, or what I think they want to hear. It's like I talk like black people when I'm around black people. That's fucking weird.
I do that too, though. Yeah, I don't think it's fake. I do that.
I talk around teenagers. What up, fam? It's lit.
Hey, fellow kids. No, let me bounce. Let me take a shot at bouncing one of my newer joke ideas off you, and then we'll wrap this up here. Let's see. So, what was a joke I wanted to? Actually, let me just grab my notebook real quick.
Yeah, dope.
Let's see. So, hopefully these carried over. Nope, doesn't look like it did. So let me think, man. I know I wrote down some stuff recently, or actually, I was on my arm and then I just took a shower. Okay, how about this? So there's this story I'm trying to tell, and I'm trying to find a way to make it funny. And it basically, the premise is, fucking hate haircuts. And have you ever gone to get a haircut and then suddenly find yourself being scared you're going to get busted for a drug bust? That's kind of the idea. And it's all
because of your haircut.
So that's the thing. I feel like by introducing that little nugget,
yeah,
it piques your interest to want to listen to the story.
Yeah, yeah.
And hopefully even just laugh at that ridiculous statement, but so far it hasn't really worked all that well.
Okay.
And the idea is it's all based on this true story where I had this barber, and no one can really cut my hair well. Mm. So I've gone to like countless different barbers growing up, to the point where I just fucking hate getting haircuts because it's always fucked up, and I'm like too shy to be like, no, you should fix that. I'm always just like, no, it's fine, and then I just leave, right?
Dude, we have the same hair, and so similar, quite similar.
Yeah.
Mine's gonna get curly when it's a little longer and it curls, but it's super thick, super brushy, hairbrushy.
Yeah, no one can cut it.
I cut my own hair too.
Oh, really?
I don't trust anyone to cut my hair because so many times I'll get a fucked up haircut and then I have to be like, thank you, and just take it. You got to take the L because I don't want the confrontation.
Exactly. So now I find a barber finally who can cut my hair decently. And then we kind of lose him from what I had heard rumored was drugs. Like he just got hooked on painkillers because he had a bad back or whatever. And then I just stopped hearing from him.
Opium epidemic.
Yeah, I just stopped hearing from him. So I'm trying to relay that back to the main part of the story, which is the drug bust part, which now that was a while back. Now I'm searching for a new barber again after I just found one that really could do a good job and was a super cool guy, got along with him decently. But then I stopped hearing from him in text, and I heard through the rumor mill that, he'd been hooked on painkillers and stuff like that. Now, fast forward, I find this new barber, also a nice guy, cuts pretty good. And then two cuts in with this guy, he just suddenly hits me up for money. He's like, "Oh, dude, my car got towed," and blah, blah, blah. I know you're a doctor. You mind if I, borrow like $60? And then I go to give him $60. He's like, "Oh, actually, I need another 80 on top of it."
Oh, it's a crackhead.
So, well, here's the thing. So $140 now, right? Now,
no, but just the fact that he changed the number, like that's drug addict.
Is
behavior.
That's
drug addict behavior.
Maybe.
Because it's like he's got you on the hook for 60, and he's like, "Oh, I need another 80."
Okay. See, which is news to me because, like, I don't come from that world, so I don't even fucking know what's going on. All I know is I almost feel obligated to give him this money because...
Fuck him. No, he's never going to give it back, but...
Punchline, or spoiler alert, he never paid me back. So now I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? So, but part of the joke I'm trying to convey is, like, the fact that I felt so obligated to give it to him because I didn't want to make it awkward with a guy that I finally found that can cut my hair right.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to not sour this relationship. Now that doesn't sound funny, but I'm trying to find a way to make it funny. Now, the other part of this story is this part I found a nugget of humor in, which is, instead of having him pay me back in cash, I was like, dude, how about this? How about I just fucking come in every couple months or every month or so, and you give me a free haircut until we're paid up. Yeah,
you bought yourself like 2 years of haircuts, as far as I'm concerned.
So and he actually agreed to it. So now I'm coming in, I'm getting free cuts.
Hell yeah.
And then the funny line I came up with for it was, it's kind of weird though, because like usually the loan shark is the one pointing sharp objects at your head, right? But in this case, it's reversed. So I've had it gotten a chuckle or two once, but last night I tried it, didn't get jack shit.
I don't know if it works. It's too long. It's not going to work as a story.
Yeah, well,
there's only one joke in there.
That's the thing. So I got to find lines of this to add to like keep it
just
waving.
Say, yeah, like my barber wanted to borrow money from me, and I gave it to him, and in return I'm getting free haircuts because he can't pay me back. But in this, you know what I mean? Like usually if someone couldn't pay me back, I would hold a razor to their neck.
Right.
But he's doing it to me now. Yeah. I don't know.
Now the story continues where he too cuts into this payback program we have going on. He asked for a ride home. Right. And again, this is also news to me because I never get rides home from people. I have my own car and I don't have a lot of friends.
You for a ride?
He asked me for a ride.
Okay.
And so I'm like, yeah, sure, if it's on my way. Again, I don't want to sour this relationship, especially after this awkwardness of we have to set up this new thing because I feel dicked over because you're not going to pay me back.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is he's a nice guy. I feel like he's not even doing it maliciously.
Yeah.
Or if he is, he's a master con artist because like he got me good. But in my head, what
happened on the ride?
So I'll tell you in a sec. But like just to put you in the perspective of who this kid was, like it just seemed like it coming from such an innocent place. Like consequences didn't occur to him. Like it just didn't exist in his world. And then maybe that's why he's a fucking barber and not something else. So that's because he's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like he's trying to con me. You know what I mean? Right. And it's not like he ever asked for money again.
There's
or stuff like that.
There's a lot of well-meaning drug addicts, and you know what I mean. There's a lot of people that have good intentions, but will totally fuck you over.
Right. So now
personal.
Yeah. So fast forward to the car ride. Now, the joke I came up for this that someone else told me because they were giving a lot of rides to people. I don't typically give rides to people because I don't have that many friends, let alone ones without cars. So he said, dude, it's never on your way. They always say it's on your way, but it's never on your way. So I started to work that into the joke where I was like, he asked for a ride. He said it was on his way. It's never on the way. Right, folks? And then I continue it by saying, and back to the real story. So we're driving. He's just talking, charming his way into just talking me.
What is he telling you like a sob story?
No, we're just talking.
Okay.
And next thing I know, we're way past where he suggested we were headed. And next thing I know, I find myself in the projects. And not only am I,
buddy.
Yeah, and not only am I not dropping him off, he's like, yo, can you just wait here a second? And then he goes into this dilapidated house.
Nah, dog.
And now I'm just sitting there like, did I just get conned into fucking sitting here while this guy's doing God knows what? And then this is where that line comes back full circle where it's like, you ever going to get a haircut and then find yourself scared you're going to get busted for a drug raid or something? That's where that came in because I started suddenly putting it together like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then I texted him I sat there at least 6-8 minutes like an idiot, and until I was just like, what is going on here? I thought maybe he was going, because I'm always looking for like the positive in a situation. So I'm assuming he's gone in there to like pick up something. I don't know. I don't fucking know like what I was thinking.
What if you say something like, you ever gone in for a haircut and end up being the getaway driver? Something like that.
That's actually punchier. That's punchier.
So does he come back?
So he comes back after I call him like, dude, I can't fucking wait here. Like, what are we doing? Why am I spending my free time doing this shit for you? You owe me money. Yeah. What am I doing is giving you my fucking time here. Let alone for God knows what you're doing in there. And then he comes back out and then, oh yeah, sorry, man. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Was he high?
He didn't seem different than when he walked in.
Okay.
So I don't know if he was just selling. I don't know.
He had no excuse. He couldn't tell
He didn't even tell me what he was doing.
Anything?
But to be honest, I don't even know if I asked because I was so fuming mad. I was like, dude, what the fuck are we even doing here?
Yeah.
And so I get back in the car, and here's the best part. He just goes, so yeah, now that I'm back, do you mind just dropping me back off at the barbershop? I was like, dude, I'm dropping you off at the closest Sunoco, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. Find you, and that was it.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Good for you. So I assume, are you going to go back to him?
No, I moved.
You moved.
And I think I actually got.
It's funny if you moved because of that. You're like, it's too awkward now. I can't even.
I actually went back because again, I want my fucking money back.
Yeah.
And it's not like I need the money. It's just like I don't want to feel like the fucking douche.
Fuck that. Yeah.
That you took advantage of. Like, fuck you, dude. Because I would never do that to somebody. I would never. The minute I borrow, and it has happened literally maybe a handful of times or less, where I needed money from someone.
Yeah.
In the short term, because like I was just waiting on a check or something.
Sure.
And this was well before I was making as much as I am now. But I'm just saying, like in those few circumstances where I owed someone $1, $5, in some rare cases $2,000, and those are probably all three examples of when I borrowed money from someone. In my mind, every day there's a nuisance of a thought that goes, pay that fucker back, pay that fucker back, pay that fucker back.
Until you're out from under it, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
You know. So anyway. Yeah, I actually did go back to him for like 3-4 more cuts, I think. And then actually I stopped hearing from him maybe one or two haircuts before we were totally paid up. So, better than nothing, I guess. But
you know what's interesting to me about that? I put myself in your position just now, and I was like, if that guy, hold on, if I lent that guy all this money and now I'm getting free haircuts from him, and this is like the 4th or the 5th one, I would, in my mind, I'd be like, this guy is over it. Like he doesn't, he's mad at me now because he has to keep cutting my hair. And I was like, I'd be like, man, he's fucking up my hair. I wouldn't be able to enjoy the haircut anymore.
Someone suggested that as a funny thing, but I don't know how to like articulate that into something funny for the stage.
Just the anxiety of like, he doesn't want to be doing this. You know what I mean? Like I've had so many situations where there's just an awkwardness and I'm just like sitting in it and I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And you just want to disappear.
Right. No, I get the sentiment, but I just don't know how I would say that on stage. Funny.
Oh, what about this? What about this? So he cut. We're halfway through the haircut. Like, so let's say half my hair is cut and half the side is shaved. This side's all mangy still. Nothing, no line here. Perfectly crisp here. And he goes, "All right, I'm all paid up." This is physical funny. It's not really, maybe it's not stand-up funny, but it's something.
Yeah. So I actually told another barber this story, and he had a great, what I thought would potentially be a good punchline, which is to basically what I'm trying to say is anything for a haircut, right?
Anything for a haircut.
You know, because the whole story generated from this world where like I can't find someone to cut my hair. Now I finally have someone. And it's like almost like an abusive love-hate relationship where like I need you, but you're a piece of garbage to me.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of like that. So again, like the funny idea nuggets are there. It's just like, how do you now take all these, put them in the washing machine and have it come out as one big piece of laugh?
It might be a analogy type situation. Maybe something else happens in your life and you're like, this is just like the haircut guy. You know what I mean? So it might just have to strike you.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, man. I think every comic has like a handful of like loose ends in his bag that he's just carrying around, and he's like, "What the fuck do I do with this?"
Right. Actually, let me give you another one. This one's a little bit more ready. So the basic idea is like how doctors are fucking retards, and they always have been. And every decade that new stuff comes out, we look back at the previous generation of doctors like, you guys were fucking retarded. And one example is like back in like 1800s. when doctors would be prescribing specific cigarette brands for asthma, right?
That's hilarious.
Right. So now I'm thinking, I was trying to create the joke in more of the premise of back when bloodletting was a thing. You know what bloodletting is? Yeah. So bloodletting is when you nick someone and basically drain them of their blood because you're trying to drain them of their evil toxins or whatever. And what exactly. And what a retarded idea. Am I right, folks? But I'm thinking I know how it came to be and was thought of as a smart idea at the time, because that doctor must have had a real beautiful, lovely, caring wife who every month when she bled out, she became she would be cunty as fuck before the blood, and then after the blood leaked out, she was such a joy to be around again. So that's kind of like the idea I'm trying to convey, but it's rough, right? Especially for a female crowd. So it's like, how do you, so basically I need to find a way to establish that this woman, this wife of this doctor who discovered this bloodletting technique, is a wonderful woman, but for some reason, once a month, she has these evil spirits. And as soon as some blood drains out of her, those evil spirits suddenly go away. So this guy must have been like, Eureka, I'm just going to do this to everybody.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, if I should say, yeah, man, keep going. There's something there. Or I want to say, like, maybe you should, like, cut that joke and let it bleed out of you. But yeah, I don't know. It's
that could be a good tag for, like, if that joke utterly bombs, then you could be like, all right, well, folks, well, I guess I'll be bleeding myself later. I'll be cutting myself later, and hopefully enough blood comes out that I forget that joke.
Out of my body.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely something there. It's just like, as a guy, maybe I just can't say it because I'm a guy. But maybe if I was a female comic, I could.
Being a comedian means you are an editor or like a collage artist. And sometimes that, like, this one piece is going to be a big part of your collage, and then over time you're like, you know what, I'm going to cover this piece and this piece, and then there might not be as much of that. You know what I mean? Like, over time, you're fucking remixing everything, and you're curating a collection of stories that you're telling people,
right?
And so therefore, they're not all bangers, and they're not all. Maybe the time isn't right on it. Some ideas, they just, like the haircut thing. Dude, first of all, there's an episode of Atlanta where the guy gets a haircut and the guy's like, I need you to give me a ride somewhere. And it's very similar. I'm not saying you took the idea. I'm just saying, like, my mind was like, oh, dude, I've seen this somewhere. Like, this is a thing. Like, there's like hustler barbers that are like, oh, while I got you in my chair, maybe I could sell you on these medicine pills I got. Or, you know, maybe, I got.
That's the thing. It wasn't even a schemy thing. Maybe that's part of it. I got to explain to the audience.
There's a lot of guys that are like, they cut hair, but like what they really want to be is producers. You know, they really got hip hop beats. You know what I mean? They're hustlers. Like, and maybe not even a bad way, but they're guys on the move, and they make a lot of friends, and they're dealing with cash all the time. And maybe some guys, you know, like, it's the hood, man. Everyone's trying to fucking come up with some money. You know? So
true.
I feel like the barber guys are fast talking motherfuckers. They could, you know what I mean? They could sell water to a whale, as it were. So I feel like that's something. Yeah. I mean, you know,
I keep hacking away at it.
We gotta get that. We gotta keep clipping away at him. You gotta get him on the podcast. To repay the ultimate debt.
Yeah, fuck that. Anyway, so I just want to say thanks for coming back, man. This was fun.
Sadra, you're the man. I'm happy for you. I hope that we can keep you in the game, man. You got to keep going. It is a desert, and you're on the path, and. So I got this joke about suicide that I'll tell you real quick, and I've been running it at Mike's, and it's a little bit like 2019. We all have suicide jokes, like, enough already. But do you know what happens when you run your suicide joke 4 times a day? It gets better.
I don't get it.
There's this whole thing of, like, teens that are growing up with sexual confusion.
Okay.
There's the whole movement of it gets better. Don't kill yourself.
Right.
So.
But why would telling a suicide joke multiple times
because the joke
lead
gets
to
better.
The joke gets better.
And you don't. I thought it
okay,
did well at the mic.
Oh, did it? All right. Well, maybe I'm not suicidal enough.
I don't want to end up with you, but that's all I got.
No, it's fine. Don't use me as your metric because again, I'm listening to so much comedy. Sometimes I'm just making it too complicated for myself.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah. It's humor is an elusive beast that we are trying to lure out of its cage and then tame, and so it's no surprise that most people that make it have at least 15 years in the game. And can you imagine doing this for 15 years?
Dude, let's see. In 15 years, I will be 47-year-old me standing up on that stage.
Yeah. And we'll be on episode 4007 of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a scary thing to think about. 47 years old, still holding a microphone.
Spend your life how you want to do it. I'm 38, and I kind of feel like I'm just really doing me for the first time. Like I'm trying to be authentic.
Right. No, I've definitely felt more of that than ever in the past year, becoming more myself. But maybe I just hold myself to just a very impossible standard. Like I want to be the next Louis, Chappelle, Bill Burr, whatever. But like there's only a handful of those guys. And there's literally thousands of us motherfuckers walking these streets. We're all not going to become that.
Yeah.
So
I think it hurts because it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's right. That's what it is.
But if you can only get better, if you keep going, you're going to get funnier.
True.
And then you're going to get more opportunities. I want you to come do my show when.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Tuesday, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here Monday and Tuesday. We'll talk. Actually, yeah, plug your stuff again.
Okay, Camden Pollio, Killer Camden 33 on Instagram. No Fun Bar, 161 Ludlow Street in the Lower East Side. Monday nights 10:30, Tuesday nights 9 p.m. And I wait tables at Veselka if you want to get a pierogi.
Hey. Nice. Yeah. Thanks for coming, man. And we'll see you around.
Holla.
Peace.